All right. Welcome back to WHCI. I'm Sunny D, announcing for tonight's boys swimming meet. Today's meet is Middletown at Hall. And as we're getting ready for our first set of heats, will be the men's 200-yard medley relay. We have only one heat for this. And starting off in lane number 2, representing Hall, we have Benny Kozovskiv, pardon my pronunciation, Dom Roussos, Ari Stamler, and Max Volanek. For lane number 3, representing Middletown, we have Ryan Negio, Aiden LeMay, Gabriel Judd, and Cody Shad. Shad. For Hall, in lane number 4, we have Cyrus Zhu, Lucas Schraber, Yaron Kantarovic, and Jack O'Neill. For number 5, representing Middletown, we have Richard Bailey, Andrew Green, Eric Liesner, and Charles Lenahan. For lane number 7, also representing Middletown, we have... For lane number 7, we have Middletown. For Middletown, we have Evan Gaborel, Sam Higgins, Atharv Kulkarni, and JDL Torres. And that was just the Middletown boys getting ready and psyching themselves up for an excellent set of races today. And once again, our first set of heats will be the men's 200-yard medley relay. The Hall record for this, set by Hall in 2019, is 138.89. So keep that in mind, folks, as you look at the time for the results of this first race. All right, and our swimmers are getting ready with their lanes. And they're getting ready. Looks like the fake out third time. Third time's the charm, and we're off. All right, so let's see. Starting off strong, looks like lane number 4 is going to be pulling ahead amongst the rest of the pack. Hall's 4th lane. However, lane 5 is quickly catching back up. It's all in this based on this first turnover. Let's see how well they do. Lanes 5 and 4 are both dominating the competition right here. Lane 7, 4, and lane 7, 4. 7, 3, and 2 are all struggling behind as lanes 5 and 4 have already reached their second racer. This is the 200 medley relay, so each racer needs to only do one lap around the pool. Let's see how well as they can continue doing this as they move on to the breaststroke. Starting off with the breaststroke into the back stroke. Or rather, the breaststroke again. It looks like lane 4 is going to be pulling ahead. Hall's slightly ahead over Middletown. But that's just the first half. Can they keep up this momentum as we move on to the second half? As we move on to the second set of race, or the third set of relayers. Second and third lane now reaching their their third race relayers. And this is still quite close. Hall is still performing ever so slightly ahead over Middletown in lane 4 over 5. But it all comes down to this last racer. How well can they do it? Hall ahead. Middletown now just getting in. They're both charging ahead with their freestyle. And this last spurt over here, Hall is absolutely making sure they are not losing this one. And they're just absolutely charging ahead, plowing through. And will be finishing first with a 1:48.91. And Hall in fifth lane, finishing with a 1:52.23. Lane 7 now just reaching their last racer, while lanes 2 and 3 are wrapping up. All right. And that wraps up. And while we wrap up our first heat of the night, we'll be moving on to our second heat. Our second heat will be the men's 200-yard freestyle. We have only one heat in this category. From lanes 2 through 7, in order, representing Hall, we have Thomas Luh. For number 3, representing Middletown, we have Jason Rambia. Pardon if I don't get the name correct. The names are a bit cut off. In fact, they're so cut off, I will just list off the last names. From lanes 2 through 7, once again, representing Hall, we have Luh. Representing Middletown in lane 3, we have Rambia. Representing lane 4 for Hall, we have Ackerman. For lane 5, Middletown's Strickland. Number 6, Hall's Bitten. And number 7's Coco. Strong cheers for our Middletown boys over here. Finish strong. And give it a hand for Middletown's last relayer. Finishing strong. All right, we're preparing for the 200-yard freestyle. Our boys are getting ready. All right, fake out 1. And they're off. All right, and from the start of things, looks like lanes 4, 5, and 2 are the pioneers for this so far, but it's all about the turnover. Let's see how well they do in the turnover. It looks like, once again, lanes 4 and 5 are neck and neck for the front runners of this race. Ackerman is trying to maintain this lead here. Let's see how well he can continue this lead as they already reached the 50-yard mark. However, Strickland is right behind him and is not willing to lose his position. But this race, rather than being a 200-yard relay, is a 200-yard freestyle. So they have to conserve their energy throughout the entirety of the 200 yards as they're now reaching the 100-yard mark and now reaching the second half of this race. Ackerman is doing a good job of maintaining his lead. However, Strickland is still right on his tail. And it's actually, it looks like Strickland might get in the lead here. But once again, it's the competition between Hall or Middletown. And it looks like Middletown is coming out ever so slightly ahead as they start approaching the 150-yard mark and the final lap of the pool. In fact, lane 5 is actually pulling ahead over lane 4. And Strickland might be taking home this first place for the 200-yard freestyle. However, on that turnover, it seems to have struggled. Both racers are now having their final burst here. Well, who will it win? Who will win this one? Ackerman is ever so slightly ahead, but it's on this final turnover, this final spurt. Who's going to make it? Will it be Strickland or will it be Ackerman? Who will win it? They're neck and neck. Oh, it's hard to tell, but it looks like, will it be Strickland? Will it be Ackerman? Oh, and it's so close. But Ackerman, Hall, will be taking the first place on there with a 151.95. Strickland representing Middletown. Second place, 152.15, a 20 millisecond difference. Wow, incredible. Neck and neck the entire time. Both of the front runners exchanging for first place. Wow. Strong performance from those two. As we wrap up, lanes 2 and 3 also finishing. Lane 6 as well. And lane 7 finishing up as well. All right. And with that, that wraps up our one heat of the men's 200-yard freestyle. We'll be moving on to the next set of heats. This next heat is the men's 200-yard individual medley. From lanes 3 through 7, we have, once again, cut-off names, so I'll only be pronouncing the last names. From lanes 3 through 7, representing Middletown, we have Nagyo. Lane 4, representing Kantarovic from Hall. Lane 5 being Liesner from Middletown. Number 6, Schraber, Hall. And number 7, Middletown's Judd. And they all start off with the butterfly. Looks like lane 4 pulling up ahead over here. Kantarovic being the front runner. However, lanes 4 and 5 seem to be quite the fierce competition between Hall and Middletown. Liesner in lane 5. They're both neck and neck, so they start moving on to the backstroke over here. However, Hall's Kantarovic pulling ahead over here. Pulling quite ahead over here, almost a full swimmer's length ahead. Doing quite well on their turnover. It looks like he's losing a little bit of steam over here, as Liesner is starting to pick up a little bit more. However, it's still quite a swimmer's length ahead as they move on, already reaching the second half of the relay of the individual medley. Sorry. And it looks like lane 4 is just going to be pulling ahead with an astronomical lead over here from 3 swimmer lengths away. Kantarovic just absolutely swimming away with the competition right here. And Liesner, although doing strong initially with the butterfly, unfortunately seems to have struggled to start catching back up with the breaststroke. Kantarovic coming back over and moving on to the final 50 yards, his final lap around the pool with the freestyle. Let's see how well Liesner can pick it back up and power on through with the final burst in the freestyle. But unfortunately, half a pool's distance away, at least 10 yards. It looks like Kantarovic will have this in the bag. And Kantarovic finishes first, representing Hall with a 2:15.66. And Liesner coming second with a 2:22.75. As the rest of our boys are starting to finish their lanes, we'll be moving on to the next set of heats. We have a total of 2 heats for this, because it's the men's 50-yard freestyle. All they need to do is complete 1 lap at the fastest time possible. So we have a total of 2 sets of heats for this. From lanes 2 through 8, for our first heat, we have Dom Roussos for Hall. Lane 3, we have Middletown's, I believe, Charlie Lenehan. For lane number 4, we have Quinn O'Neill for Hall. For number 5, we have Richard Bailey for Middletown. For number 6, we have Benny Kosovsky, for Hall. For number 7, we have Cody Shad. And for number 8, we have Max Nathan from Hall. This will be a fast race, folks. Be quick, easy, and out for only 1 race, or for 1 lap. And our boys are getting ready in their lanes. It'll be a quick race, so let's see which boy can come out on top. And they're off. Lane 6 having a little bit of a late start over here. Let's see how much that affects him. Lane 5 seems to be pulling ahead, but it's all about the turnover. Very quick race. Will Lane 5 be able to maintain this lead? Ooh, very clean turnover. Lane 5 has the cleanest so far. Lanes 4 and 2, next fastest. Wow, incredibly fast race. And that's it already. Lane 5 finishing first with a 23-14. Lanes 4, 2, and 3 finishing second, third, and fourth respectively. Wow. And that's just 2 seconds off of the Hall record that was set by Carson Reisner from 2023. Only 2 seconds off. Not bad. All right, well, moving on from that, we have the second heat. For these, we have only 3 lanes for this, all representing Hall. From 2, 4, and 6, we have Josiah Rollins, James Rose, and Noah Neff. All right, and give it up for our boys over here. Lane 2 seems to be pulling ahead over the rest of the pack. But Lane 2, while having the fastest start, unfortunately seems to be struggling with the rest of the freestyle, as Lane 4 has quickly caught pack up and is now taking the lead. All right, and it looks like this will be a clean victory for lane number 4. Congratulations to Rose finishing first. Neff second and Rollins third. All right, and that wraps up the men's 50-yard freestyle. We'll be moving on to the diving segment of today's meet. And as we transition once again, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to WHCI. I'm Sunny D announcing for today's swim meet. All right, and as we're getting ready for the diving segment, we have a total of 6 divers representing for us for tonight. From Middletown, we have Aiden Roy for flight number 1. At flight number 2, we have Hall's Max Nathan. For flight number 3, we have Middletown's Nathan Ivans. For number 4, we have Hall's Quinn O'Neill. For number 5, we have Middletown's Cody Shad. And for number 7, we have, I believe, Connor McCune from Middletown, though his name is cut off, so apologies if his name is not Connor. Looks like they're doing a couple of practice reps just to get a feel for the diving board before we officially start the diving segment. So bear with us as we get ready. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't know quite too much about diving, so I'll do my best to relay whatever I hear the judges say, namely scores. But man, I seriously can't imagine. I can't even do like a front flip on like a diving board. So seeing these guys doing like 3 different 360s all sorts of ways, I'm like, wow. There's no way I can do that. All right, so if I relay that correctly, looks like Aiden will be coming first, Connor second, Cody third, Max fourth, Quinn fifth, and Nathan sixth. Though I'm not entirely too sure if I got that in the right order, if I remember correctly, so pardon me. But this should be Aiden Roy coming up first. All right. 3.5, 4.5, and 3. Connor up next. Damn. Pardon my language, but wow. That's a double. 4, 4, and 5. Judges agree with me there. All right, Max next. Max from Hall. Ooh, that's... Ooh. Twos across the board for the judge over there. Unfortunate. That was not quite the belly flop. More of a butt flop, if anything, but oof. Diving must be intense. The atmosphere, the silence. Okay. Nice. I believe that was Cody. Wow, 6.5, 5.5, and 6.5. Very impressive there. All right. Okay. 5.5, 3.5, and 5. Clearly the middle judge was not impressed with that one. Ooh. That was good. As someone who's not seen diving that much. Wow, 7.5, 6.5, and 7. Clearly, judges agree with me there. All right, we're going back to Aiden over here. Okay. 4.5, 4, and 4. Connor taking the board once again. Was that 2.5 or 3? Either way, that's a lot. 4, 5.5, and 4.5. Three and a half, 3.5, and 4.5. Oh, 6.5, 5.5, and 6. I can see what the judge is holding up. Not 5.5. Looks like our announcer got it wrong a little bit.
Scores are 61.5, 5.5, and 6. 32nd guy, 103B, forward, 1.5 somersault height, and 27.
That was a big jump.
Scores 4.5, 6, 5.
4.5, 6, and 5. First judge being a little visibly frustrated. Wow. Okay. Six, 6.5, and 6.5. Impressive performance. We'll come back to Aiden once again for another loop. Five, 5.5, and 3.5. Last judge. Last judge clearly not happy with that one. Quite harsh, in fact. Oh, I see. I didn't realize, but the divers have a wheel to adjust the center of balance of the diving board to see if make it more floppy or not. Three, 3.5, and 2.5. It seems, I believe he put it in a little bit too far. So diving board got a little bit more unstable for not a clean takeoff. Five, 4.5, and 5. Okay. Six, 5.5, and 5.5. That's it? Huh. Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. very nerve-wracking event, so understandable. All the eyes are on you, and it's complete dead silence for you to perform. Ooh. That's unfortunate. Or not. 655. All right, never mind. You know, it was actually pretty clean. I guess it wasn't a backflop. He almost clipped his feet over there on the diving board. 4-4, 3.5. Three, 4.5, and 3.5. Two and a half, 4.5, and 4. Five, 5.5, and 4.5. Four and a half, 5, and 5.5. Whoa. Okay. Six and a half across the board. That guy did like 3 twists. Wow.
Scores 5, 5, and 5.
5 is across the board. A clean 15.
Connors with 204C, down, 2 somersaults, up, 2.0.
All right. Good stuff.
His scores are 5, 4.5, and 5.
5, 4.5, and 5.
Max is with 202A, back 1 somersault, straight, 1.7. Scores are 5, 5, and 4.
5, 5, and 4.
Main spit dive, 5132D, forward, 1.5 somersaults, 1 twist, free, 2.2.
Whoa.
Scores 5, 5.5, 5.5.
5, 5.5, and 5.5.
Quick spit dive, 202A, back, 1 somersault, straight, 1.7. Scores 4.5, 4.5, and 4.
4.5, 4.5, and 4.
Heavy spit dive, 403C, inward, 1.5 somersaults, tuck, 2.2. Scores 6, 6, 6.5.
6, 6, and 6.5. Nice. Clean.
Starting the final on the dive 80, we'll do 52.21E, back, 1 somersault, 1.5 twist, free, 1.7. Scores 3.5, 4, 3.5.
3.5, 4, and 3.5.
Connors final dive 402C, inward, 1 somersault, tuck, 1.6. Scores are 5, 5,
5, 5, and 5.5.
Max is final dive 52.21E, back, 1 somersault with 1.5 twist, free, 1.7. Scores
4, 4.5, and 4.5.
Forward, 1 somersault, 2 twists, 3, 2.3. Scores
4.5, 5, and 5. Three, 3.5, and 3. Five, 6, and 5. All right, and that looks like that was the last of our diving segment over here. We'll be moving on to the races again shortly. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to WHCI. Today we're announcing for the Middletown at Hall boys swim meet. I am Sunny D announcing. And bear with us as we transition towards the next set of heats. Also, if you're listening still, hi, Mom. Glad to know you're listening. All right, it looks like we're starting to wrap up our practice segment, our warm-up segment, so we're starting to move on to the rest of the program. For our next heat, we have the men's 100-yard butterfly. We only have one heat for this. As we start to get ready. From lanes 2 through 7. Unfortunately, the names are once again cut off. So I will only be saying the last name. So for number 2, representing Hall, we have Kantarovic. Number 3, we have Judd from Middletown. 4, Hall's Shu. Number 5 being Green. And number 7 being Middletown's Coco as well. And once again, thank you for tuning back to WHCI. I'm Sunny D. Be sure to subscribe for more coverage of West Hartford's town events and sports. All right, and our racers are getting ready for the 100-yard butterfly. That's just 2 laps around the pool. And they're off. All right, and starting off, wow, this absolutely lightning fast start. Lane 4 will be coming up in first. Lane 2 not too far behind, but let's see how well they do in this turnover. Lane 4 looking like they had a clean turnover. Lane 5 starting to catch back as well. It's hard to tell, though. Lane 4 still pulling ahead over the rest. They reached the halfway mark. Shu pulling on quite a bit of a lead over here. In fact, so much a lead, the next racer is close next behind is Lane 5, who's a full swimmer's length away. Lane 2 also a full swimmer's length away. Can Shu maintain this lead for the final 25 yards? Let's see how well they can do it. And lane 4, Shu just completely clean turnover. Hall's Shu is going to be finishing first with a clean 56-82. Lane 5 and lane 2 finishing second and third respectively. Very fast race, sub 1 minute race for at least 3 of our contestants, or 3 of our racers. All right, and that wraps up our 1 heat of the men's 100-yard butterfly. Up next, we have 2 heats for the 100-yard freestyle. From lanes 2 through 7, we have Max Volanek from Hall, Nathan Ivins from Middletown, Thomas Luh from Hall, Richard Bailey from Middletown, Ari Stamler from Hall, and Aiden LeMay from Middletown. Give a hand for our last lane as well. All right, and they're getting ready for the 100-yard freestyle. It's 2 laps around the pool. Getting ready once again, and they're off. All right, it looks like lane 3 had quite a bit of a late start. However, lanes 5, 4, and 2 are all been neck and neck. Let's see how well they do in this first turnover. Lane 5 seems to be pulling ahead over the rest. However, lane 4 is still about a half of a swimmer's length away. But Bailey, lane 5, still pulling ahead. Middletown's Bailey. Let's see how well if they can keep this up in the second half with the 100-yard freestyle. It looks like they can still pushing ahead really strong. That half a swimmer's length has now moved on to a full swimmer's length. The next being closest is Thomas Lua from Hall. As lane 5 looks like they're going to be running away with this competition as Lua seems to be losing steam. As lane 5 is just cruising on by. And lane 5 is going to finish first with a nice clean 50-19. Lane 4 going to be finishing second with a nice 54-72. Lanes 2 and lane 6 finishing third and fourth. And now we'll be wrapping up our 100-yard freestyle. We have another heat for the 100 yards freestyle. We have from lanes 2, 4, and 6, all representing Hall, we have Noah Neff, James Rose, and Josiah Rollins. And they're off. All right, and from the start of it, looks like lane 6, while they have the cleanest turn or the cleanest start, their freestyle seems to just lack the firepower to maintain a consistent speed throughout. Lane 2, while they don't have the strongest start at for the beginning, they maintain a consistent, nice speed throughout the entire freestyle. And lane 4, cruising on by as they reach the 50-yard mark. Get up for Hall boys as they continue on. Lane 4 pulling ahead. Cruising along with a nice brisk freestyle pace. Not needing to make anything very splashy. And lane 4 will be wrapping up soon. And wrapping up. Lane 2 also wrapping up now. And lane 6 about to wrap up as well. Give it up for our Hall boys. And with that, we'll be moving on to the next set of heats. This heat will be the men's, I believe, 400-yard freestyle. It says 500-yard on this sheet, but I believe it'll be 400 yards. We only have one heat for this. From lanes 3 through 7, we have, if I can read this correctly, Charles Lenahan from Middletown, Jacob Ackerman from Hall, Eric Liesner from Middletown, Marcus Bitton from Hall, and Sam Higgins from Middletown. Oh, sorry, Jack Ackerman. My bad. The name is cut off. All right, and our boys are getting ready. And they're off. Now, reminder, this is the 400-yard freestyle, so they're going to need to maintain their energy throughout the entirety of the 8 laps they need to go around the pool. From the start of it, looks like lane 4 will be pulling ahead, having the cleanest start and the cleanest turnover, but let's see if they can maintain this momentum the entirety of the 8 laps they have to do. Looks like lane 4 has maintained momentum and has gained an immense lead over amongst the next closest lanes, that being lanes 3 and 5. We're about a full swimmer's length away, or at least 2. And once again, this is all about conserving your energy, your momentum, your endurance the entire time. Lane 4 has already reached the 100-yard mark. Let's see how well they can continue on as they move on. Lanes 5 and 3 are also reaching the 100-yard mark. All this is about conserving momentum, conserving your energy, and knowing when to have a last burst of expending it all. Lane 4 reaching 150 yards. And Jack Ackerman just taking away the competition thus far with this lead. What once was 2 swimmers' length is now already moved on to being at least half a pool's length, a full 20 yards over everyone else. As Jack has now reached the halfway mark. 200 yards, 4 more laps to go around the pool. Lanes 5 and 3 now also reaching the halfway mark. But Ackerman now just about a full pool's length away and just swimming away with the competition. Once again, Ackerman just swimming along now. Lanes 5 and 3 still somewhat neck and neck between each other. This absolute endurance. Ackerman's got it in the bag. Give it a hand for these boys cheering on their teammates, though. Always nice to see some sportsmanship and some nice encouragement. Looks like Ackerman, I believe, is on their final 50 yards here. One more lap for Ackerman, I believe. It's hard to tell. Oh, I lied. Ackerman now on their final lap, I believe. Lanes 5 and 3 are still next. I have once again lied. It's quite easy to lose track in here. But that bell signifies that they have one more lap to go. I am assuming. All right, and with that, Ackerman will be finishing first with a 5:19.98. I believe the next closest lanes are 5, 3, and 6. As our next leaders. Lane 5 finishing second, 5:42. And everyone cheering Charlie on in lane 3. Finishing strong with a 5:55.47. The 400-yard freestyle is quite a tough swim to be able to handle all that distance. It's quite a bit of work. All right, well, while our final lane is starting to wrap up, our next set of heats will be the men's 200-yard freestyle relay. Representing lane 2 is Hall. We have Lucas Schraber, Dom Russos, Ari Stambler, and Marcus Bitton. For lane number 3, representing Middletown, we have Jason Rambia, Cameron Coco, Nathan Ivins, and Cody Shad. For lane number 4, we have Hall with Quinn O'Neill, Thomas Luh, Jack O'Neill, and Jack Ackerman. For lane number 5, we have Middletown with Cole Strickland, Ryan Negio, Charles Lenahan, and Eric Liesner. For lane number 7, also representing Middletown, we have Antonio Patavina, Atharv Kulkarni, Evan Gaborel, and JDL Torres. All right, and starting off strong, looks like lanes 4 and 5 and 2 are all somewhat neck and neck, but let's see how well they do in this turnover. From this turnover, it looks like 5 will be pulling ever so slightly ahead, but 4 is not content to let it up and is charging on ahead. Let's see how well they move on to their second set of relayers. Lanes 5 and 4 neck and neck. And lane 4 now pulling ahead over lane 5. Cleaner start, but let's see how well they do in this turnover. And lane 4's Hall still trudging on ahead. Let's see how well they can fare on as they move on to the second half with their next set of racers. Lane 4 pulling ahead. Lane 5 now getting the next racer. And lane 4 immediately strong freestyle. Charging on ahead. And now just taking that lead and starting to run with it. Hall not content with letting victory slip from their hands as they already move on to the last swimmer. Can their anchor sink it out? And lane 5, now almost half a pool's length away, just cannot catch back up. As now lane 5 is now tied for lane 2 for second place. As lane 5 is going to be finishing first with a 1:36.86. Excellent coordination from Hall's team over there. And lane 5 finishing with a 1:44.34. And lane 2 finishing third with a 1:50.05. Very strong performance for a relay race over here. All right. And with that, as we start to wrap up our last 200-yard freestyle relay, moving on to the our 10th set of heats for the men's 100-yard backstroke. From lanes 2 through 7, we have Max Volnek, Ryan Negio, Cyrus Shu, Connor Strickland. I believe that's Connor, right? No, Cole. Sorry, my bad. Beni Kosovsky and Jason Rambia. Pardon me as I mispronounce names. They are cut off once more. All right, and our swimmers are getting ready. They're off. 2 laps around the pool. Let's see who can come out on top here. It looks like lane number 4 is going to be pulling ahead. Cyrus' Shoe. Let's see how well they can continue to keep up this momentum on this turnover. And with a very clean turnover, Shu is going to be pulling ahead over the rest. Lane 5 still not content to letting this go. Strickland. Let's see if Strickland can make up this deficit as they move on to the second half of this race. But Shu, just very clean turnover over turnover. And it seems to be working out in his favor quite immensely. As Shu is already down to the final 25 yards and already a full swimmer's length away. This is going to wrap this race up, finishing with the first place with a time of 55.92. Lane 5 is not going to be finishing second with a 59.72. Congrats to Shu and Strickland, respectively. All right, and we're starting to wrap up the men's 100-yard backstroke. Moving on to the men's 100-yard breaststroke instead. We only have 1 heat for this, and from lanes 2 through 7, we have Dom Roussos from Hall, Aiden LeMay from Middletown, Luke Schraber from Hall, Andre Green from Middletown, Ari Stambler from Hall, and Sam Higgins from Middletown. All right, and our swimmers are getting ready for the 100-yard breaststroke. They're off. All right, and with that, looks like lane 2 might be pulling ahead amongst the rest of the pack here. However, lane 4 is not content to let that go. Let's see how well they do in this turnover. It looks like lane 4 has a very clean turnover. Lane 2 as well. They're both neck and neck. It's hard to tell from this angle, but I believe lane 4 is pulling ahead over lane 2. Schraber over Roussos. And it looks like Schraber is going to reach the 50-yard or the 100-yard mark first, but no, it's neck and neck. Schraber and Roussos are neck and neck with each other. However, lane 5 still really close behind. Green is still not content to letting this go, but it looks like from this clean turnover, it looks like lane 4 is pulling ahead over lane 2. It's hard to tell. This is neck and neck. Who will come out on top? Will it be lane 4 Schraber from Hall? Will it be lane 2 Russos Hall? Or will lane 5 be catching up with the second win? Lane 5 is actually catching up with this last burst. And lane 5, Green from Middletown, will actually take it away with the first. With a 1:13.34, excellently well paced throughout the entirety, and getting that last spurt towards the end. Amazing stuff from Green. Well played, well played. As Middletown will take the dub on that one. And with that, we'll be moving on to the final race of the night, the men's 400-yard freestyle relay. For lane 2, we have Hall with Quinn O'Neill, Jack O'Neill, Marcus Bitton, and Max Volanek. For lane number 3, for Middletown, we have Cameron Coco, Jason Rambia, Aiden LeMay, and Sam Higgins. For lane number 4 is Hall. We have Yaron Kantarovic, Thomas Luh, Jack Ackerman, and Cyrus Shu. For lane number 5, for Middletown, we have Richard Bailey, Gabriel Judd, Cole Strickland, and Andrew Green. Oh, it's Andrew, my bad. For lane number 6, we have Hall, Max Nathan, James Rose, Noah Neff, and Josiah Rollins. For lane number 7, we have Middletown. We have Antonio Patavina, Atharv Kulkarni, Evan Gaborel, and JDL Torres. Once again, this is the final race of the night, so no holding back. All right, they're getting ready, and they're off. All right, it looks like lane number 5 will be pulling ahead with the cleanest start so far, but however, it's all about the turnover and how well you can make a lead for your team. And lane 5 has a very clean turnover here. Middletown, lane 5, starting off strong as they complete and reach the 50-yard mark. Can they conserve this lead the entire time? Lane 4, Hall, about a full swimmer's length away. And Hall having a very clean start. A swimmer who can do very strong turnovers in a blink of an eye has gained quite the tremendous lead here as Middletown is already getting their second racer in lane 5. Hall now getting their second racer now, reaching the 100-yard mark. Lane 5 still about a full swimmer's length away, but lane 4, seeing the deficit mid, is not about to let this victory go uncontested, and is now trying to catch back up. As both races now reach the 150-yard mark, about now to reach about the 150-yard mark. And that swimmer's length away has now been moved to half a swimmer's length away. And unfortunately, Middletown seems to have struggled with that turnover on number 5. And because of that, Hall is now starting to catch back up, and now it's neck and neck between Hall and Middletown. Hall having consistently a strong lead over, or strong swimming rates over here, strong pace. Let's see how well they do as they move on to the 200-yard mark, and now the third set of racers, both swimming in at the same time. It all comes down to their anchors, their two set of anchors, and both swimmers are not going to let this rest. Lane 5 pulling ever so slightly ahead over lane 4, Middletown over Hall, but it's still neck and neck as they move on to the 250-yard mark. Both of this third set of racers needing one more lap to complete. And lane 4, Hall seems to have a cleaner turnover here and has now gained the lead over lane 5's Middletown. But lane 5 Middletown is not going to let this slip away as they're both still neck and neck. And Hall, while they had a cleaner turnover there, it's not by much. They're in the lead, but it's only a hair's distance away. It's all down to their anchors. Hall swimming in first. Who will make it out on top? Hall had the cleaner dive in first. Will Hall's anchor take it for the lead and have a stronger second half? Or will Middletown sink it out towards the end? Oh, but Hall's anchor just is too much. He's just a truck who is not willing to let it go. And Hall just trudging away at the competition. What was neck and neck. Hall's Cyrus Shoe taking it away towards the end. And Hall will be taking it first and ending it with a 3:32.63. And Middletown finishing second with a 3:41.61. Strategic planning by Hall, having the strongest swimmer for their freestyle, ending it last to make sure their anchor is at their strongest. Congratulations to Hall. All right, and we're wrapping up the race with the last of our racers here, our relayers. Give a hand for them. It's always nice to see the boys supporting each other, cheering on their fellow teammates. All right. Oh, never mind. One more lap around for lane number 7. The final 25 yards. Give a hand for JDL. JDL Torres. All right, all right. And that wraps up today's Middletown at Hall Boys Swim Meet. Thank you for tuning in to WHCI. Be sure to hit subscribe if you want to look for more content, for more coverage of local events and sports around West Hartford. I'm Sunny D, signing off.